Hello, my name is Jess Marie. Welcome to yesterday's Coffee Grounds, where I typically talk of things that have happened in my life or what I got going on. And right now I'm having a few moments to myself. I'm here to chat. I'm here to maybe make a nice warm milk and honey after. I'm a little bit stuffed up. I have been suffering, I want to say, from allergies because I have never felt this stuffed up and normal in every way, shape, or form. Like my diet is good. My head is good in the sense that I'm not foggy. I feel fatigued all the time because I'm pregnant and I'm growing a new organ and a small human. So yes, I am a little bit fatigued, but all in all, I think I'm just suffering from allergies. So I'm a little bit stuffy, just constantly like, If one thing about me is I don't like boogers. I don't like blowing my nose in public. I don't like blowing my nose around anyone, but we're here. It's been 2 weeks of just, and I have never gone through this before, so it's kind of annoying. And I'm not somebody who takes a Reactine or anything like that. If you do, my partner does. He does his thing. Like, that's fine. I'm trying to get my hands on some local honey, but last time at the farmer's market, I made it to the honey stand too late and I didn't have enough money to get the honey. And then the other two farm stands in our town, they're all out of honey until the fall. So I'm like, that's what I'd normally do, is just eat honey, have a little bit of honey, and usually that helps with hay fever because the bees that are pollinating in your area, they'll pollinate all those flowers, and then you eat the honey and it gives you almost like what do they call those immunizations, those shots? It gives you a little bit of it, and whatever the disease is, I don't know, the virus, the flu shot, I don't know, gives you a little bit, and then it goes through your body builds antibodies against it, blah, 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 blah. It's similar to honey, where if you have a little bit of that honey in your area, local honey, raw, unpasteurized, local honey, so good, organic, try your best. Like with honey, I don't want to get into my feelings on honey, the mass production of honey, but it can be used as medicine if we are sourcing it appropriately, and it can be very beneficial to our body's use if we source it appropriately. It's not just a beautiful, sweet treat. Use it appropriately. In my personal opinion, you can either take it or leave it. I don't care. Do what you want, and don't bother other people unless they are hurting someone who cannot fend for themselves or doing something that's wrong and weird, and just, then step in. But if they're not hurting anybody, any creature, anything, sometimes I feel like we just say our opinions to say our opinions, and it's okay to have our opinions and be differentiating on it. I found, like, post-COVID, a lot of people are a little bit more argumentative and very like, okay, you believe this, and let's just take the honey, for example. All honey is bad for you, or all honey is the same, all honey is treated the same, or it's like, no, actually there's a difference in quality of honey, and there is a very beneficial use to honey. It feels like sometimes like you can't get anywhere, and I have experienced this multiple times since like COVID that people are very if you don't like my opinion, we cannot be friends and we cannot get along, and it's not going to work out. Opposed to, okay, I'll hear your side. This is what I believe. Or, yeah, you know what? I hear where you're coming from. I used to think something different and I'll change my mind. People are a lot more affirmative, or very like, they stick their post. They have their belief, and that's what it is. And it's not going to morph based on any information, even if you give factual, scientifically proven information. That's just my personal opinion. But today I just want to talk a little bit about, now that we're finally getting into it, I want to talk a little bit about, lately I've been just dealing with some big anger emotions. So I've talked about my addiction and my struggle with addiction. And my biggest thing was smoking cigarettes and alcohol. And now that I don't have these coping mechanisms, I'm now kind of left with my emotions. And also being pregnant, I have more hormones in my body that I'm trying to balance, plus my day-to-day life. So I've been feeling extreme anger, extreme frustration, and it just comes up and it's just almost vomit. It just comes out and I express it right away, and it's been really difficult to control that. And I can control it a little bit better prior to being pregnant. I felt like I had a little bit more control, but lately, like today, for example, this is actually really funny. Today, for example, my son and I, because we're both kind of snotty, runny nose, he's been coughing a lot more, so I'm like, oh, maybe he's sick. But today, we're making what's called banana pops. We just call them banana pops. And it's just banana dipped in yogurt. Sometimes we put like a little flavoring in the yogurt. Today it was honey. Speaking of honey, sometimes we just do yogurt and then coconut flakes on top. It's very simple, very good. And then we put it in the freezer. So I catch him. We're about to put it in the freezer, and I'm opening the freezer because I like to open the freezer, get it all set up, make sure there's a spot, and then put the tray in. I get the freezer all open and everything, and I come back and he's like licking all the popsicles, and I was just blown. I was so upset that he would get his, he has all these boogers, like this snot nose. If you have a small human, you know what I'm talking about with the boogers, the snot coming down their nose, and it's just the grossest thing. And I'm picturing all his boogers getting frozen onto these bananas. It was awful. It was just like, I was really frustrated, and I just let it out, and I was like, oh my gosh, we need to go outside. We need to go to the river. So we go down to the river, and it was the most calming experience where we were talking to another mom there, and I was just telling her, like, honestly, I need help. I'm having a really tough time keeping my cool, because it's just these little things of hey, Levon, I need you to pick your toys up. I'm not picking my toys up. It's too hard. Okay, you're getting rid of all your, like, we're putting your toys in storage. They're gone. And then he finds out they're gone, and then I just get really upset with him because he's upset with me, and I match that energy. Or he'll do something like, I'll ask him to do something a certain way, and I know he's 3, but then it's like, oh, the other day, he asked for a gummy. We make our own gummies, and he asked for a gummy in the fridge, and I was like, no, you can wait till after our lunch to have a gummy. And he's like, okay, so he opens the fridge door, and he's sitting in the fridge hanging out, and I was like, do you need anything in the fridge? And he's like, no. And I'm like, dude, get out of the fridge, like, come on. And then, so he gets out and he yanks the fridge in a way that I think the door is going to break off. And I'm like, Levon, think about it. Think about it. Like, I was, it's just really tough, because in those moments I'm like, how do I find grounding? How do I find that composure? Where does that come from? And does that come from prayer for some people? Perhaps. Does that come from practice? I feel like I'm being tested every single day. Hey, practice to keep your composure, because it's only going to get more difficult the more children you have. And it's just something that runs in my family as well, where it's called, I actually don't want to say my last name. Eventually someone will find out my last name. But there's a thing in my family where, because my granddad is Danish, he came from Denmark, and they're like old school traditional, and they have that very deep in their core, that very, and everybody in my dad's side of the family has this rage, this built up energy where we feel this big emotion and we just exert it right away instead of processing it and channeling it and putting that into something, directing it. So it's something I am definitely working on to the best of my ability. But yes, I am struggling. And if anybody out there has any tips, not just for little ones, but for people that we love in general, usually when we have these big emotions or we're upset, our needs aren't being met, let's say. And I think my needs are being met in a lot of ways. I'm getting enough sleep. I'm eating well. I feel like I have time to myself. But when our needs aren't being met, we definitely feel these emotions. I don't know how to regulate this, or how to, in the moment, calm down, or just like say, it's okay, laugh about it, have fun. I'm like, fuck, do I need to talk to my midwife about taking THC or CBD gummies myself? Not that my son takes it. We were talking about gummies a moment ago, and whenever I say gummies, I always think weed gummies every single time. Gummies is just like gummies, like, oh, you're eating gummies at work? What? And you know, he takes his I make multivitamin gummies for him. They're in the fridge. And then he also has marshmallow gummies or vanilla. They're like honey, vanilla, like it's so good. Those ones are actually really good. They're really good for him, but that's more of a sweet treat one. So yeah, proud mama. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, just little tips like how to combat in the moment those high intense emotions. Like, what do you do? And yeah, not just towards young people, that frustration, but also towards the people that we love the most. But any tips and suggestions, please let me know. Yeah, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And if you're also going through some big emotions, I fucking feel you. And it's okay. God gave us emotions for a reason. He gave us emotions. Oh, Rob's coming home right now, so I'm gonna go say hi to Rob. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I love you, and we will see each other soon. Bye.